What's up, guys? Hi, and welcome to Friday's workout. This one is good. This one is solid. It was a short workout. I only did 2 exercises, but I did the most important ones, and I'm really happy with the results. So, on Friday, I'm recording this on Sunday. I did manage to achieve I wouldn't say a personal record, since I probably have been able to do this in the past, but I'm definitely nearing my previous strongest ever. In addition, I am the strongest I've been this year. So things are going in the right direction. I finally got 4 reps of 100 kilos. That is the last rep there, as you can see. Really slow rep, but I did get it. And the plan now will be to not do 4-3-2. The plan will be to get 4-3-3. So that is the next plan. That is the next goal. That is what I'll be working towards. And pretty soon after that, I'm going to try to get 4-4-3, eventually 4-4-4. So I have fallen off the original time plan. I'm going to make even slower progress now. The original plan was to add 1 rep on one of the 3 sets on a weekly basis. I thought that I would be able to get up to 3 sets of 8 with this, no problem. Unfortunately, I hit the ceiling really quickly, and yeah, that sucks, but I'm just not gonna let that stop me. Fuck it. I've been through this bullshit so long now of hitting roofs and just not making progress, expecting fast progress, not getting it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna work now. I'm gonna work for multiple months. I'm gonna work the entire summer. If it only takes me to a 120 kilo bench, if it only gives me a 5 kilo improved bench, I'll fucking take it, bro. I'll take it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to go hard, right? There comes a point where I give up my strength training goals and go to other things and maintain, and that time is not now. Now is the time to blast past previous roofs and destroy them and get to new levels. So I almost need to write this down. I will do after this voiceover, which is why I'll finish it pretty immediately here. I'm just going to say this final thing first. Just this little quick thing. I did 16 down chin-ups in 16:05, which is good. Also PR. But now let's say what I was supposed to say. I'm pretty sure at this point, I used to believe that discipline was more important than motivation. I think I've changed my mind. It may be temporary. At this point, I think that motivation is more important. Honestly. Motivation is more important. You don't need the same level of discipline to do something that you want to do than to do something that you don't want to do. So, and the thing with motivation is, people say it's short term. Just have to sniff a little here, whatever you would call it. But the thing with motivation, for me at least, is motivation can be high for many months on the same goal. Many months is enough time to get significant progress. So at what point do we say that motivation is a real force and it's a long-term force? Another thing you could say is, well, why would you want to maintain a physique? Why would you want to stay healthy? Off of just motivation, you're going to run out of motivation and you're going to stop training. But I truly disagree with this. As long as you're motivated to not be a fucking loser and be fucking ugly and weak, you're going to find the motivation to train, even if you don't really want to. So I would say that the discipline part is much more about doing things that you don't want to do. And in that sense, I'm not particularly disciplined. I've just been really motivated this whole time. So, and that's what's come back here. I haven't been on this arc where I've been forcing myself to train here particularly. Mainly, I've just kind of naturally started wanting to train harder and wanting to train more. And my motivation has been rising concurrently with me becoming increasingly fed up with the level that I'm stuck at. So motivation may be more important than discipline. Something that I will think more about. It's a life lesson. It may not be true as well. That's something that I need to think about. But that is something I've realized this past week. Talked to my we'll talk to someone about that, basically, and realize that for me, for what I've achieved and done, that motivation factor has been a long-term driving force for me to do many high-level things, and I've never been particularly disciplined. For certain phases, I do definitely push myself through pain, but at the same time, I really want the results. So it's not even a question of should I continue or not. Very, very few times have I actually been in that moment where I actually truly do something that I have no intrinsic desire to do. I've done that very few times. The real answer is finding your goal, finding a reason. When you have a reason so strong, or it doesn't even need to be an emotionally powerful, or it doesn't need to be a logically powerful reason, rather. It needs to be an emotionally powerful reason. Sorry, I'm starting to become sick here, apparently, which I'm not worried about, but yeah, it is what it is. So if we want to look at an emotionally powerful reason to stay in shape, for example, that just might be, I really don't like the way I look when I'm a little bit fatter. That could be enough. If you feel that feeling hard enough, and if it's just a long-term state of mind where you're like, I just can't accept a certain version of myself, that is a motivation. And that isn't a discipline thing. When you can't accept a certain lower version of yourself, and that's why you train, that is motivation. And the motivation, as I said, it can just be a bullshit reason, but you need to find a reason. Everyone's reason is different. You might want to, as Arnold say, you might want to go to the beach, and might want to look good for the summer. You might want to be stronger than your sibling or your cousin. You might want to be better than a previous version of yourself. You might want to break free from the chains of being average, but you need to find your motivation. And honestly, you only need discipline in the beginning, because oftentimes the motivation comes later. As soon as you start building momentum as well, you won't really need motivation either, because you'll be in a self-motivating spiral. And that's the thing I'm really close to achieving here with this training. Since I've been so consistent now for a few weeks, I'm actually starting to make progress, which means once I make more progress, you get that whole dopamine cycle of constant improvements for a few weeks or months. And that is what I've been shooting for this entire time. So what started off as a motivation to not stay where I was has now pretty soon transformed into a self-perpetuating cycle of progress. This means you don't really need to force yourself to do things. When you want it bad enough, you will do it. And oftentimes, the discipline required is only the discipline to start. The beginning is difficult. The middle is pretty easy because you're coasting on your own progress and positive spiral. And the end is difficult. Think of it as a cut, guys. If you're cutting, you're going to cut 10 kilos, you're going to get lean. It's really hard the first week because you have to mentally acclimatize to being in physical discomfort on a daily basis and being tired. Then you have the middle phase where you're making more and more and more progress. You're looking better and better. Nothing's really going to derail you. You're just making progress all the time. Then you have the last few weeks where you feel like shit, you're more tired, you're more demotivated. And there, the discipline starts to come in. But most of the time, the motivation is the key driving factor. And a big part of being motivated is making progress. So I would just say, for any of you who have trouble with your motivation when it comes to your training, try to be as consistent as is required to start making minor progress. Once you make minor progress, you will probably be able to continue. Good luck, guys, and I will make the next video immediately because it needs to get done and I have been lazy with these. So I will see you in a few minutes. Goodbye.